Good idea.
30 seconds to battle.
Agreed.
It's in the bag!
All you have to do is let me in.
By my whiskers, that's good stuff.
The battle begins.
To the battle. Perfect. Forward by bounds.
Middle is missing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We huffed enough copium to be able to get a game 3. That's all we were asking for here in our first series of the night with Nick Galaxy C taking on Polaris. We're going to find out who will be the only team remaining undefeated here in Division 2. Just to keep in mind as well, the Execration vs Fnatic series is going to follow after this. So, you know, we've got an incredible way to kick us off tonight, don't we?
Absolutely, and not just that, that's not even the mega series of the day. Finishing us off will be Boom against T1, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for those teams to go up against each other, so much like Mate, this is so sick coming through here at the end of it all. And yeah, I mean, Game 3 for this Division 2 series, again, it means a lot. I mean, for everyone that's watching, loyally watching, I mean, you would have to say C Division 2 gets by far the most viewers as well, I would say, across all of the international regions. It's just so close, and these are two teams that have a very high probability of both being in Division 1 when it comes around for next season. So, you know, if you want to start getting your own favorite players in some of these teams that haven't necessarily had as much of an opportunity to really showcase their wares on the big stages with, you know, panels and all the flashing lights and bells and whistles, this is the place to do it. So tell your mates, tell people that you aren't even friends with, because this is some great Dota to be watching.
Yeah, definitely the teams that we are going to be seeing through the Division 1.
On the prowl.
Potentially, we're still, of course, looking to determine. Yeah, we've got one more week.
One of them will. One of them will.
On track.
So we've got 4 more series, including this one.
Yeah, Polaris Little Gun, sorry, Polaris Ragdoll is the other big series that's going to come next week. And I believe that's not the last overall series. I want to say it's on the second one. Yeah. So that'll be a really interesting one as well, especially let's say that, oh god, don't need to do that.
As you will.
Like you can essentially make it there that
Bruce Blood. Thanks and have fun.
a certain way.
First
That's going to be pretty exciting. I think
It was ours
the result
all
that
along.
would cause that would be Nick Galaxy C winning this series,
Since you command.
losing to Lil Gun, and then Polaris beating I don't know. I'm trying to do too much mental maths here as we get into the draft, so I don't even need to do that. And Polaris, they're just going to keep it simple. Banning again Mizu's heroes. I can't think of a better Spirit Breaker in the world, outside of maybe Collapse. His one's pretty damn good.
Forward, pet.
Alright, so what do we see
Out
from
of my
Polaris
way!
now? The Shouted Demons available, which we saw Game 1 and Game 2.
Middle
Tides
is
available.
missing.
Bars as well.
Bars,
It's
yeah.
definitely been those 3 heroes so far. Could we see something completely different as well?
5 seconds remaining.
What was banned previously? Because the Bane obviously was able to slip through. I can't recall one of the hero they banned out in
Yeah, I'll check.
that previous series. It wasn't Lion, was it?
Not that
I don't think it was.
First phase Lion ban, that's a lot of respect. I'll check now. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember, because
Oh.
yeah, there we go. So they do still just Tide Hunter.
I could do with more of that.
Shouted Demon Mars.
Radiant team pick.
Flash. Okay.
Ooh, alright.
Okay.
Something a little different here.
It was Quap that was banned out.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Although, wait, who banned it out? Was it Polaris or Nick?
Radiant structures are fortified.
Strength
it's
shall
like-
be
Your
ours.
top tower is under attack.
Nigma haven't won on it.
Dire
Like, they've played it 4
structures
times
are
and they haven't won a
fortified.
single game with Quap. So you would imagine that it would be them making sure that it's removed from the equation, because they were just never going to win.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Enigma. Yeah.
Wonder what they're going to pair together with this left track. I mean, the Shadow Demon is a nice little bit of
I'm
safe
under
protection.
attack.
It's not like, not that it's a meta hero, but it's not on the same like level as an Oracle for pairing together with a Leshrac. It's not on the same level as Io pairing together with a Leshrac as well. But of course, still a nice
Your
strong
top tower
combination.
is under attack.
Someone, Leshrac is able to consistently chase them down, and even if you get later on, if you want to enable your Leshrac even further, you can go the Aghanim Shard and just Demonic Purge the Lesh and make sure you're healing him, consistently dispelling him as well. So it's still up in the air with who exactly
What is this?
well, right? We've seen Enigma Galaxy flex it across all three of their core roles.
I think that's a really strong lane too versus the Tide Hunter. You've got the double range just set up with the banishment for the split earth. And like you said, they flexed it a lot. So in your dream, it really likes to play the hero. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they put that matchup into the Tide. And well, Polaris, they're going to make sure they can go through at least some way to be able to start these fights. So secondary way, I should say, with the Tide Hunter. It's so far been a lot of emphasis on supports just offering your survivability factor and just being able to mitigate the initiation. We've seen the use of the Nightmare, the Banishment, but now for Polaris, giving the Lion over to Xavius is going to give them a really strong lane too.
Absolutely, and well, this time around Enigma Galaxy, they have the second pick overall, so they're going to have the last pick of this coming phase, and I have to wonder, I mean, the heroes that Polaris are getting rid of right now are ones that,
Your
again,
middle tower
keep
is
people
under attack.
semi-locked in place. You know, the Mars, of course, the Tide Hunter they picked up for themselves.
Your middle
Invoker,
tower has fallen.
Tornado combinations really enable Leshrac quite heavily, so that's quite nice. I'm thinking, are they going to consider getting rid of
Your
the Puck
bottom
as well?
tower
Because it's
is
one
under
of Alacrity's
attack.
great heroes, and you don't want to leave it that you haven't picked like a great lane against the Puck in this stage, and then they just pick you on that last pick of this coming stage, and then look to ban out.
Leap
Your bottom
forward.
tower is under attack.
Do you feel like though if they Puck in the
It reveals
second,
their
yeah,
lane.
that's what I'm thinking. Like more than likely you save the Puck or at least the position.
Your
to
middle
the
tower
team,
is under
just to keep
attack.
the flex through the Lesh.
The inner light
I think-
dawns.
Polaris are too good of a team to let that happen, in my opinion. You know, they
Yes.
might let it slip through this phase, but they wouldn't let it slip through the next one. End up getting rid of the TA. So honestly, we might even consider pucking now. You know, because you don't have to deal with the TA. Get rid of the Storm Spirit for themselves.
Good idea.
They just wanted to make sure that there was something that allowed the Shadow Demons to do their thing. That's something a little bit different here. I mean, it's good setup, I suppose, for the Leshrac. Just look to roam around together with him. The spirits have already been removed from the pool except the Ember, so I wonder if they're trying to bait that out. I mean, both of these players are great at Ember Spirit in the mid lane, and I think the next assassin can kind of
Leap
dissuade
to
them
it.
from doing it. It's kind of like a fourth ban for that second phase, just because it's such a hard hero to get into it. You know, of course, you
Yes.
just pop your Carapace when he's got the Flame Guard available, allows you to set up with some of your other stuns.
On track.
Yeah, I mean, it might lead us to believe that Alacrity is going to be playing the Ember.
Stop.
I truly believe Polaris have to
Agreed.
keep tabs on this potential Darkseer that's going to come out for
Shadow. Take us.
I'm not a fan of it. Running out for Mizu. I think Nyx is
Of
a
course.
really poor lane, and I know CC have a rough time in the
This
lanes
grows
and how they can
interesting. Attack.
convert through the 7 to 13 minute mark, or even I should say 7 through level 6s. So
To the battle.
I think Darkseer can kind of enable that with the Nyx assassins.
Sure, but none of these heroes so far are great with the wall replicant, right?
Forward,
Like, they're not
Pet.
this big impact in a lot of these cases. Even just the Mirana, right? It's not amazing. Just killing the Mirana combo again that was pretty damn effective, and I really liked the fact that Xavius was able to flex his item build, you know, when they were 15k behind, going into the Aghanim Scepter and able to pull those lanes out. So they still ended up going for the Ember Spirit, despite the fact that they have this Nyx Assassin. So they might just be saying, look, Mac, Lelouch, whatever you want to call yourself these
We
days,
admit no
we're going to rely on you on one of the best heroes. Understand Nyx Assassin is on the map and play accordingly around it, because we can't afford to die Nyx setup combination.
And I think not only was it Xavius kind of flexing the
Leap forward.
also just the Moonlight Shot being X Factor and how we're able to take a lot of
Such power is
start the fight
ours.
as well. We saw they always had this way to cut through the map
On
with
the
invis,
prowl.
get the initial intel, and
As you wish.
Killing spree. Hello, this is Gabe Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
And now
Die
we're
home.
going to get our own information. So I really like how they've just gone back to Mirage.
And even just with Mirana, we saw it.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That plus 20 evasion, forcing 2 MKBs to come out on the course.
Forward
of
by
the Galaxy,
bounds.
when, in my opinion, it could have been perhaps some other items that would have given him a little bit more of that effectiveness. But
Good
we're seeing
idea.
a Shadow Demon Luna combination. I mean, it's tale as old as time, really, coming through here to assist with that push coming forward. And, well, the concern for me still is that
Stop. Bring down.
right away,
Mine enemy.
you've got Leap Pin to do so.
The
you've
enemy's
got-
bottom tower.
By that initial start, coverage is good. You're able to use that Moonlight Shadow when you're ever
Good idea.
towards a team fight. Then you shouldn't get that free setup, and you should be able to get
Tower
disengaged
before
whenever
us.
things Galaxy try and run at you, or just try to stand and fight.
Was able to power into this game for Forest as well. I mean, if they got the stocks of the
Forward by
Mate
bounds.
to our beautiful partner, the natural energy drink, which is caffeine reimagined, you know, this could
To the
potentially
battle.
be that X factor for them, like it's the X factor for us. It's boosting us through this series.
Leap forward.
Through our next series as well, which is going to be exciting. But you guys can head over to enter the code BTS.
A dominating performance.
As you wish.
Your middle tower is under attack.
But it was just
Oh,
one
no.
by one.
To command.
Would just have this gradual push
Double kill.
fighting. So
Your middle tower
I
is
mean,
under
again,
attack.
they don't have anyone that's going to dive super deep, and they've also banned out themselves.
Tuck your tail and run,
So something
mutt.
like a drow isn't the worst.
For victory. We ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the draw a lot. I think it looks really good having a Titan and a multiple.
Radiant structures are
Galaxy are
fortified.
really going to lack ways to get on Natsumi's hero.
Sure. Even just having a couple of agility heroes as well, in Mirana and the Ember Spirit, that are going to benefit from that marksmanship.
On the prowl.
You might be a little bit worried about going for a draw just because if it's a lion drow lane, it's a lot of poke from afar. You're still not seeing the position 3 from Nick and Galaxy C. You know, you banned out the DK, you banned out the Darkseer. They definitely need ways to start fights. Like you're very lacking some form of initiation and just to help
It's not done
enable
yet.
the Luna and the Leshrac, because these are
On
heroes
track.
that need to be in the middle of the fight.
Double damage.
What is Mizu going to play? That's what I'm keen to see here. Go the Wraith King instead. Okay, I mean, it's all right, but I mean, it's one of those heroes that if a Leshrac kills you once, you can very easily kill him again. You know, it's not like you've spent your entire,
Selfish.
what
Good
do we like
idea.
to call it? Resources to be able to take. As long as you've got some of that. Two heroes that love to use arcane boots, so at least in the first few team fights before they get disassembled for like an Aether lens, it's going to be good.
Cringe you curse. Stop. Star.
Come into
Ride like a dog. That is ours.
Killing spree. Double kill.
Even just against the
Killing spree.
just consistently so a lot of the big counters to the Tide, but still things that just completely lock him down and he cannot get out of. You know, things like the Disruptor, for example. Brewmaster instead. Don't hate it.
Double kill.
I was kind of thinking that maybe they would look to play the Shadow Demon together with it, just because Shadow Demon plus Brewmaster. But that be the case. The Shadow Demon paired together with the Luna, Nyx Assassin coming alongside the Brewmaster. How do you feel about this one? I want you to put your cards on the table this time around.
Classic when it's all white.
Again.
Well,
We
I
ride.
think, like you said, comfort for Mizu on the Brewmaster, definitely one of his more favorable heroes. I think it looks like a really good pick this game too. Against
Good
the
idea.
Ember, just for the dispel is really nice. Whether you want to throw the Raven, maybe the Tide Hunter. You are, I think Brew's always into any instant stun, and you have that with the line, and then you've got plenty of stun
like
lock
the
and
stars.
burst afterwards. So it's gonna have to now come back onto the backs of the supports in Shadow Demon to really keep them alive and get that ultimate off. I think
Yes.
I'm gonna go
To the battle.
I do like Polaris's draft a lot, and I'm just thinking about how
Your
Nick
middle
Galaxy are
tower
going
is
to be
under
able
attack.
to take a lot of these engagements. You know, I feel like it just needs to be Alacrity just
Forward by
putting his body up
balance.
there on the front lines. Like, ideal scenario is they get a pick off because
Your
Jokan's
top
been able
tower
to find
is
someone,
under attack.
right? And if it's Ember Spirit,
Scatter.
that's
Dire
probably
structures
the
are
ideal
fortified.
scenario. So it's going to be up to Lelouch to make sure he's avoiding that situation. But outside
Your
of that,
top tower
I mean,
is
like
under
you
attack.
mentioned,
Good
the
idea.
Brewmaster, he is very
Your
vulnerable
top
to getting
tower
chains
has
by
fallen.
all of this lockdown that Polaris has. At least with Alacrity, you're going to be able to have that Diabolic Edict ticking, you're going to maybe have a Pulse Nova going, and then Pulse is going to be in place to save you. So at least you're still doing something by allowing the Brewmaster to, of course,
As
get
you
in with
will.
his ultimate
A golden
and
thread.
disrupt the chain stuns that are going to come after the Shadow Demon save. But I'm feeling like I'm doing a lot of this needs to happen, then this, whereas Polaris, it seems like a much easier draft.
Shadows take us.
Alright, we got 2 on board here for
We
Polaris.
ride.
We're both even in regards to our little betting map count thing that we got going
Forward,
on. But
pet.
for both incredible series.
Your phase ends.
The Fnatic
Leap
versus
forward.
Execration. It'll be followed after this series. These two teams
Whimper
done and
dogs.
dusted, and again, what a way to kick the night off. Game 3.
The enemy's
Definitely
bottom
feels like
tower
Polaris.
has fallen.
I think we're both giving them a little bit of the edge.
Your top tower is under attack.
Since you command.
So, this is going to be behind 15k after
On the prowl.
around. They got some pretty solid level 1. I mean, on both
Leap
teams, to be
forward.
honest, but they're both looking to play around each other quite a bit.
I like your moves. I like your style.
So what do we feel like is
You are looking good.
what's kind of the
By
lanes? Because we were kind of saying the mix and the
Surprisingly
brew might be a little bit awkward together. You wanted the Shadow Demon
Fair warning. Yours has arrived.
Let's rest the Ember.
Yellow light
Focusing in on
dawns.
how the lane is going
Of
to go,
course.
but more about how you're going to make a play after. And for me, for Enigma Galaxy, Alacrity feels like all you
Yes.
got, really, right? Because Brewmaster can't do anything really until you pop your ultimate. And you probably don't
Evil
want to be,
curs.
you know, doing that just willy-nilly. Whereas on Polaris, it feels like they've got plenty of ways to set up for stuff. You know, the Wraith
the battle.
plus a stun combination with anyone is obviously going to be very effective. And then of
Just
course
what
you've got
are
that
you
great roaming
hiding,
potential
Rashad?
coming through from Mirage. And even just a level 1
The really nice thing with the
Definitely.
this year in the second game. Now it's just going to be that much easier with how they've kind of enabled
Good
this pick
idea.
with all the stuns. I mean, Wraith King really set up that.
Stop.
Lanes are looking really strong.
Lucky shot.
The killing spree.
he is all of them. 20 minutes.
Mega kill.
In this series, like game 1 UCA was on point. Game 2 was really good as well for quite some time. PL and the rest of Polaris with some big issues. So they haven't made it with the less track.
Mavis.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Mavis needs some help. Natsumi just swing on over with the Wraith Fire Blast is not enough to keep Mavis alive, and it's going to be Yokam in the middle lane to play
Just out of place very slightly. I mean, it meant that Cinder Brew was able to be tossed out. Nice enough. ended up claiming it. Not going to get that super early herd of shadows.
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Good idea.
Do you see how much damage they can do on Mizu just
The
with
cost
2
of
stuns?
kibble.
Pretty much 3/4 of
Forward
his
by
health pool
balance.
is taken care of. He's got a Selv, Yokam has a Selv as well, so a lot of
Stop.
resources left here with Mizu in this lane, but he's got some pretty good creep
Forward,
equilibrium as
pet.
well. Lane completely shoved out, and they don't have the small camp to play with. So
The
it's gonna have
prize
to be
is
off the
mine.
back of the heart.
Gonna try and pull this
On
one
track.
here. Looks like he's actually going to get locked up by Yokam.
Stop.
He
right.
just keeps spamming that one.
Union.
And to be fair, it's been pretty accurate for the first 15 or so minutes of the game that we've watched.
Double
I think they've given him the Tide Hunter again. And we've seen
Agreed.
game 1, game 2, the Aegis snatches to maybe give them a whip of hope to come back into those games.
On the prowl.
The Ravages as well have been pretty solid from Force. Do you feel like they've maybe answered it well enough to let it slide, or do they just want rid of it?
I don't think they've answered it well enough. Again, they're lacking these heroes like the Legion Commander and the Disruptor that are just able
Since you
to
command.
actually completely lock you down with a, not taking the Dragon Shell into account. So I feel like,
Right.
again, it's just so much
Roshan has fallen to the
more
dark.
that actually is able to
Allies
take this big body out of a team fight.
Avis? I am real surprised at how this lane is faring from these blows. I mean, they're trading blow for blow. They're throwing really low, but getting the kill.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And Mizu, he's even got that they could lay
Dominating, I guess.
Good idea.
He's using as much resources
They're unstoppable.
to cause them to go into
To the battle. Krinduka.
Even I like a little
of building up the field. I think that's 2-1 so far with the Shadows.
Forward.
The enemy's middle
Taking
tower has
Ancients, although
fallen.
you've got to remember that.
Yeah, it looks like it's rated up stacked a little bit by the triangle with Aegis and the Mirana. It's done a really good job of just... He's pretty confident at the moment in this lane. And your dream is...
The enemy's middle tower has
A
fallen.
lot out of this, so how are we expecting to
Leap forward.
considering how much...
He's getting an okay amount. Some of it has come from
Yes.
the small camp though, as opposed to actual lane creeps. He's going to get
Agreed.
sitting a little bit behind the rest of the cores in the game.
Back.
So I think it's going to be on the back of, again, like what happened in game number 2 to give them that big lead. If they're able to scout out the fact that
On the
these
prowl.
stacks are starting to be built up inside the Radiant Triangle, if they can take them away with the likes of a Lesh and a Luna, big bonus for Enigma Galaxy C, because they don't have the greatest heroes to take it so far. Like, hate the stack because he just can't take it.
Mega kill. Killing spree. Double kill.
over to mid, get rid of the catapult and prevent the poker pod they could have gone, and I think we have to keep tabs
Of
on
course.
that in the next 5 minutes when the second catapult's going to come through, because this is
Your
always
bottom
when Enigma
tower
Galaxy
is
C
under
going to
attack.
get
Dire
aggressive and
structures are fortified.
A little bit unlucky there.
Since you command.
Point on the top side. So wasn't able to grab the illusion, which is great.
Attack.
Dominating, I guess.
On stop. Bring down.
Mega kill. Double kill.
now.
anyone could see that it was your time.
Pull this lane behind his tier 1 tower.
Your middle tower is under attack.
First using Mizu's ultimate and still Natsumi, he's lacking his own level 6, but they've got the
Your
extra
middle
reinforcement
tower
coming
has
from
fallen.
Xavius. They're trying to kill off the creeps to find his 6, but they're not
Your middle
fast
tower is
enough.
under
But
attack.
they'll get a huge
Your
kill
bottom tower
on
has
Natsumi.
fallen.
And now they can look to transition this into a secondary pickoff
Your
as
middle
well,
tower
as
has
Mavis
fallen.
drops to the burn on Mizu.
Your
and
middle
they're not done
barracks
just
are under
yet.
attack.
Xavius
Your
is
middle
still got some
barracks
weak
has
charges to
fallen.
play with, but oh my, Mizu's comfort in the Brewmaster
Your top tower
is coming
is
in
under
huge
attack.
here in this game.
Sure. I mean, the Mirana was there just to try and maybe bait out one of those earn charges, but not me.
Your top tower
So
has
much done
fallen.
with it super early on, and if he wants to, he could start building into that Aghanim himself. He's already got enough to his opponent.
Will not stop
Double
us
kill.
that easily.
Maybe the
Your bottom
hasn't
tower
been
is
delivered
under
to him.
attack.
He's counting that for whatever reason as not
Fair
his network.
warning.
Yeah, maybe
Your
he's not
death
good.
has arrived.
He had more. He had more than that. Like, he was level with, you know, the tide in the Ember.
And this game, Radiant do have strong ways to infiltrate through the jungle and scout out when Inner
Agreed.
Dream is taking these stacks, because he's definitely
Star. Spoil that shot.
nature and the tempo controller with the less track and with the help of the Shadow Demon.
On the
So,
prowl.
you know, we'll see Polaris how aggressive
Radiant
they want to get.
structures
You
are
early
fortified.
blocks potentially picked up. I mean, it is a line
Diamond.
position 5, so maybe it's not too much network, but he's just having a relatively good time. We've seen, I
Since you
think,
command.
the
enemy's
games now
middle
he's going
barracks
for the
has
blink
fallen.
off of the hood, so if he can find this at a decent timing, that can really
To the
enable
battle.
Polaris to get aggressive and bring in
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
I have to wonder this game with how they're
Scatter
going to
and
go
stop.
with their targets for the Demonic Purge. I feel like early on, it's probably still
Killing spree.
experience.
Forward by bounds.
Mentioned, you can't get the flame guard off.
The enemy's
well,
top
that you're able to
barracks
feel
has
eventually
fallen.
to it.
Whimper
Slows down a lot
dog.
of the experience effect in a lot of these engagements, but later on, as soon as that Wraith King picks up the BKB, you've got to change your priority.
Star.
To run around these team fights and do what he needs to do,
ride.
which is try and
Star.
was really worried that Nyx was going to be pretty underleveled. I mean, he's already level 5 at 8 minutes in. So they're going to have Vendetta to be able to make plays with early, with Alacrity, who might just get a kill. My God. You love to see it. A good old regen up to the...
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
Pattern
You got one more chance. I'm still finding shape.
it's actually so worth it. You do all of that, and then it just still.
I'm in your debt.
They're gonna try and run into In Your Dream, who's gone the long way around, and again, Spidey sense is tingling for the position 1 on Enigma Galaxy C. Maybe they're not tingling enough. Just chilling.
No, they saw the movement around because they've got this nice observer ward on the cliff there, and they just placed the observer as well, so they're going to get a nice little bit of gold experience bouncing from that. As the cliff continues onto the bottom side, and Beckham just trying to be annoying right now. He's got the 1 point in the mana burns, so why not just consistently lay that into that side?
Will be a trade. Radiant, they're gonna find the T1 tower first.
Once more into the breach.
Do you feel like they come down bot to contest?
Good
You're going
idea.
To Mizu's ultimate, In Your Dreams here too. You happy with the trade?
Yeah, but it's In Your Dream that's got more of a farming build, right? Of course, they don't know that, but anytime you're coming up against this Lunar Blessing, you always need to be conscious of the fact that this pushing happens pretty damn quickly. So, yeah, I feel like they just want to try and prioritize getting the early aggression coming out from Natsumi in
As you
particular,
will
right?
it.
Armlet plus a Gloves of Haste just makes him really impactful in a lot of these early engagements. And,
Leap
I mean,
forward.
you might even be able to afford going into something like the Blink Dagger as opposed to a BKB as the
Good
first
idea.
item, just because of what I mentioned before with the Shadow Demon just being able to use the demonic code using the BKB first. You don't want
To the battle.
net worth wasted.
This one first. Forward 5 hours.
Play with you super early on,
Agreed.
which is a nice thing about the draft that Polaris have, whereas regards to Dire, you're really lacking. It's going to come down to the net worth on Mizu.
I'm under attack.
Start, but still, you're going to be relying on the Knicks to make the plays and also, you know, team fighting with the cooldown on the primal split. Whereas Radiant, all they need is the blitz.
All they need is the blinks. I mean, you can still play relatively consistently around Alacrity, but again, it needs to all be on him, and I'm sure that they're looking to wait for this Yule Scepter before
Your
they make
middle
any kind of
barracks
super
are under
aggressive move.
attack.
I don't know how much I like Jokan.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Your middle tower has fallen. Dire structures are falling. Your beast is under attack.
I think they just want to get him
Radiant
that first.
victory.
Instead of the recipe for the Yules. So maybe Joachim is just going to clear out this siege creep, and then with his ultimate look to join as the roaming starts to happen.
Well, again, we see the supports from Nick Galaxy C always finding their farm across the map. They quite often can convert with the net worth into kills, assists. Very good with their items. This is going to try and run down Alacrity, however. Use of the Yule Scepter is able to dodge, and now they've also got the Primal Split to kite the Tide Hunter. A power position from Nick Galaxy C is they can turn to do with Force, but he's got the Wood, the Kraken at level 3 as well. So not an easy task to go through, and well, now that's the ultimate wasted. And we might see the side of Polaris look to connect.
No ultimate, and she had to TP all the way back to base, so maybe they look to go for some kind of engagement here. It's going to be without the bruise split, but Joachim, again, it's all about him finding the right target to be able to initiate this on.
Even in your dreams, Common.
Fantastic.
And they look to
Found
start.
him.
The first stun's there, the secondary lacking. Lelouch able to get down to the south.
That's the comms, right? Like, if Alacrity's there to chain stun,
10
you probably kill
seconds
that
remaining.
Ember
10
Spirit.
seconds
You
remaining.
could suddenly push into that tower. Sure, you'd be going into the
5
Ravage, but
seconds
it
remaining.
becomes a much easier engagement and team fight and objective to be able to claim after that. Of course, anytime that you're able to take away the mid tower, it opens up the Radiant jungle just that little bit more. And of course, Luna, Lesh, they love taking jungle camps. They want to make sure that they're able to quickly burst them down, move on to the next, quickly down, boost on to the next. It's all about that AoE flash farm fast clear.
Paulison might be in trouble. Force, does he have to drop the Ravage here for the Shadow Demon kills? Now Xavier's just gonna pay for the consequence, and now he doesn't have enough mana too. So a bit of an awkward fight for Polaris, as now they're more than likely gonna give up the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, potentially. You've got Wraith King here on the sidelines. He obviously wants to persuade that as much as possible.
Assassin.
The pole
Just not too
of
claim
pestilence.
the bones of the Knicks. And nice little quick and easy killers, you know, back and forth we go
Prepare
here,
for
trading
battle.
lives.
Horse.
They're just going to go straight on back into pushing into that tower. Mizu's still 20 seconds away from the ultimate. Doesn't want to join the team fight too
A
readily.
galloping in
With the Nyx
fiction.
Assassin, he was able to spend all of that unreliable gold previously to pick up the point booster. Still though, that's not the ideal
Forward.
situation that you want.
30
Giving up
seconds
the
to
mid
battle.
tower. When they always have to consider the Roche taking potential that they've got. You know, a Blightstone on the Wraith King. He's going into the Desolator. You've got the Tide Hunter for the Gush. There's a decent amount of damage and quick Roche taking potential. Not even the Orb of Corrosion actually on the Ember Spirit.
And even that's just a little bit of extra
Vector
network for
of
Lions.
infection.
Mavis has got some time down bottom, so
Marks the
1600
spot.
towards the blink, and it's just going
The
to
battle
be, if it can hit it,
begins.
maybe 17 minutes in, we might see Polaris smoke.
No.
Bruce Blood, thanks and have fun.
Wanting to make this three, Mizu still yet to have the second level in the
Tissues run.
Wants to put himself onto the front line. Xavius might inadvertently end up breaking this as the Yule Scepter. Going to catch him out, but
It's got a couple more leaps. And Xavius is out. Maybe he's
What
actually
a
going to go
lot
back
of
into the north.
denied.
He's run into the Nyx Assassin along with the Lash, but the arrow, thanks to the setup of the Ravage, enough to blow up the Lash track. And now Yokem obliterated as well, thanks to Mavis swinging on over. As all Polaris down to the bottom jungle as they find 3 for nothing.
It felt a little bit weird that they weren't playing around Mizu. You know, as soon as they had that smoke, Mizu was in the area but wasn't caught under the smoke. I kind of thought that they were going to position him in that mid lane. Worst case, he gets gone on with something like the Ravage because you don't have the Blink Dagger yet on the Lion. And you countered him and they're waiting in the smoke to be able to save him. Still able to get on the run. But
Rancid.
it just didn't end up going that way. You know, they go up onto the high ground where they have no vision. It's not near any kind of objectives. Sure, they placed down a couple of wards there, but they're probably going to get dewarded because they just used one of the sentries there to get rid of a Radiant objective.
Definitely feels like Nick Galaxy are playing on the back of this.
Molder on.
Aghanims timing on both the Nyx and Brew and maybe even BKBs. Are you in agreement that this is what they should be doing? Maybe
Marks the
trying to find
spot.
some small skirmishes early?
I think that play was fine if they just
My
played more
name
around the
is
as
Legion.
opposed to the right-hand side, right? Because that's
Maybe it's going to look to start to set up for the arrow, but perfect position once again from Polison. It's enough to keep Mizu alive and the rest of the and then have the luxury of the remnant from the Lush. Maybe it's a little bit more with the leads, one more available, but the Leshak is able to swing on over.
Yeah, it's kind of the point that I always tend to talk about, right? Is that you can smoke and you can get kills and that's great, but this early on into the game, it's not actually going to result in anything because, you know, you might need to use a big ultimate for it, and if you're not actually getting an objective like that mid tower, it feels like it's a little bit lacking.
Infection.
Exactly what Polaris did. So even that one, right? Like you get a kill onto a Mirana, but it was 4 heroes on the bottom side of the map, and you only got 1 kill. And there's already no tower.
My tissues run.
And in your dream is
Nice,
going real well, though.
Stone on Alacrity.
Of course.
Disabled it. He's going to give it over to the Nyx. Completely understandable.
I
Of
run
course, the big
rancid.
strengths of that with the Spike Carapace AoE, but I mean, I feel like Mana Burn is very undervalued for what it was able
Plague
to
spreader.
provide. Tower.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Solo kill.
Hello, this is Gabe Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2.
Basically got
Double
nearly an
kill.
entire level as well. A solo kill at this stage of the game. Position 4.
I'll
Heal on the
plague you.
I might look to jump Polison too.
Yeah, they want to get a pick off into Roche. They've just finished up that
Plague
escalation.
spreader.
And Polo's actually going to his own blink. Jumps on Mavis. In your dreams, gonna look to show off
Forward.
along with Alacrity. So a quick and easy pick off as Slime. No cost him his life, and now Nick McGalaxy C. This is a big window for him. Because they're well aware that the next objective for Polaris is that Roshan.
Slightly deeper water. You know that the Lesh and the Luna are going to be there a lot of
Your
the
middle
time.
tower is under attack.
Marks
Down
the
Sentry
spot.
Ward, just out of range actually from the one that was there in
A
front of his
galloping
tower.
infection.
I think they know, because Polison saw him kind of posture down to the stairs when he jumped.
Range.
Does still find he also hasn't got a soul catcher, which I thought was a little bit interesting.
Yes.
Justified.
I mean, 1 point is such value,
Yeah.
right? I'm not a little like, oh, come on.
It's crazy. 20%? Was the tide? Love and life. still, things are slowing out of the room. I mean, Nick Galaxy C continue to accumulate a bit of a lead. It's stalling.
Spread the contagion.
Mizuru's found his. Yokem. He's out of 1,000
Your bottom
gold.
tower is under attack.
Picked up a gem.
I mowed her on.
Guy that got the gem? Who got it?
Dire's structures
Yeah, it was.
are
Paulson found the
fortified.
gem, so it really
Your
looks like
bottom
they're going to
tower
start to
is
get a
under
lot more
attack.
map control now.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's just such an enormous power spike a lot of the items that Enigma C are
Your
going
bottom
for, right?
tower
Like,
is under
jump.
attack.
Got Mavis
Your
and
bottom
Natsumi
tower
hand in
has
hand, and
fallen.
they just obliterate Polason. And now
what?
Nyx Assassin's even revealed his own positioning, and they are the pickups that they were waiting for to lead into Roche.
Killing spree.
Your middle tower is under
Roche is sitting up
attack.
there as well. What's going on?
Radiant structures are fortified. Your middle tower is under attack.
A dominating performance. Double
I mean,
kill.
that is an
Your
incredibly
middle
odd
tower
play.
has fallen.
You can rotate to be able to
Radiant
place that
structures are
board, but you don't
fortified.
link up onto the high ground with no one there to back you
I
up on a shadow
run
deep.
rancid.
Radiant still has that deeper defense. They're going to shout out Enigma Galaxy C, getting ready to formulate a defense around the Roche area. Mizu popping a split, forces behind him as his Aegis picked up from the Lelouch. In your dreams, still got the BKB, is going to solo down Force thanks to the ultimate. He's away to one before the death.
The enemy's
She's
top
going to use the
tower
BKB
has
to get
fallen.
out to safety, but Mizu, great
I
use of the primal
run
square.
rancid.
Your
Even though they
bottom
weren't able to
tower
claim
is
the
under
Roche,
attack.
it is going to result in a
Killing spree.
able to
Double
catch
kill.
up.
They got Polo to set up. It's a high value target if they can get rid of Lelouch, but now again it's going to cost the Nyx Assassin his life.
I
Pushing a
go.
little bit too aggressively there from Yokem.
Surely they get this tower at least. I mean, it might get
Forward.
denied through by Xavier, so at least it opens up a little bit of that map control. But that's a couple of times now that
I
Alacrity's
mowed
missed
her
Might
that.
have to use his second use of the split here. They might even burst him down. Opportunity!
The
Gem drop, Mizu gone, Polaris.
Affliction.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is not what they want. to be completely frank. I mean, it's a few very odd rotations that they've made, right? Like, very different from the Enigma Galaxy that we saw in Game 1. They made two rotations that they made that weren't actually around an objective and were more going for kills. And then a couple of small little teamfight spells that weren't chaining together quite effectively with your Nyx stun or with the split earth there on Alacrity. So he has at least still finished up the Black King bar, but you can't afford to wait though.
A dominating performance.
A galloping infection.
One wave, that's all I ask.
Do you reckon he's going to get it?
He's gonna get it.
Damn it.
Come on, he's like, oh, how long can I wait?
My tissues run.
Again, I've got to ask. I mean, Enigma Galaxy C with the Ag soon to be picked up from the Nyx. If they
Take a
really
deep
missed their
breath.
line time they were looking for with the
I don't know if they missed it, but they just had
Your
such
bottom
a
tower
huge
is under
spike
attack.
relative to what Polaris had because they were still a long way away from picking up that BKB on the Radiant. They were still,
Plague
a long
spreader.
way away
Your
from
bottom
having
tower
anywhere
is under
close to
attack.
getting the pressure on Force, and he can pick up 1.5 components of it already.
Radiant.
I go.
Just 5, not the level 18 as well.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Target to jump and pull some more. He's going to play in the wings, the burst is there. And even now the rest of Enigma Galaxy C. Looking to try and get out of the areas best as possible. Back at the BKBs, but they're soon to expire.
Double kill.
Paulson charged down. Now up the high ground they go as Natsumi will lock onto the Luna. There's no escape for the position one. There's no escape for the bug as well. As Polaris, time after time, they're able to take these team fights perfectly.
Yeah, that one, again, it was just a little bit of a misplay from Enigma Galaxy. The Shadow Demon was in position. They had the chain locked down initially on the Brewmaster.
Of the
Had the
raging
range to get the
contagion.
disruption off to be able to save it. Wanting to reflexes to be able to get it off after the Ravage was cast, but
where
before
you
the Ravage
drop.
actually hit him on the Shadow Demon, he just wasn't able to do it on Policy.
Plague
So you give up all of
spreader.
that team fight control, you're able to consistently run at the Nyx Assassin, who had picked up the Aghanim Scepter and borrowed in place, but yeah, they just killed one after the other.
And this is the thing about to make the Shadow Demon reveal his positioning. Behind the hero you're going on, and is able to click the support. And it's like, how do you find off the back
Of
of that?
course.
We saw in Game 2 that because of the lack of network the Lush had, they didn't have the burst and to follow up the Ravage. But this game is completely different. You've got Wraith King with Blink, you've got Ember with the Remnant, Lion can fall as well if he's not already initiating, and Mirana too from afar. It's just, Polaris have so many ways to burst too quickly down.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, I mean,
Starts at the head.
the Aghanims on the Brewmaster and the BKB on the Lesh. And really poorly executed team fights, it has to be said, on Enigma Galaxy has resulted in that huge
Vector
upsurge gold
of
Now, his own Aghanim Scepter is able to he knows what his priority is.
Killing spree.
Getting onto that
Own
Shadow
it.
Demon, preventing him from blinking in and impacting
and
their
leave
chain
a
lockdown onto
purulent
the likes
corpse.
of the Brew, the Lesh, the Luna.
So what is the
I
ideal fight
molder
for
on.
Enigma Galaxy C? What do we, you know, the best picture, the best world, how do they start the fight
You
and what does
rot.
it look like?
It's either, well, it's hard to do it with, but it's
Dire
either just
structures
have the
are
Lesh on the front
fortified.
line
Rancid.
and have them commit a lot of spells onto you, and then just save with the Shadow Demon, or kind of similar to what we just saw, but just have them save again. Like, it's very heavily on Policy right now.
Sweet spoil.
Spend all the time. Get away with not using BKBs, basically.
Is Goblin keen on pick 2, very close to the 8 turns completed, so Paulson have something at least in the arsenal.
The enemy's
Do
bottom tower
exactly what
has
you're
fallen.
asking for, just to really
Killing spree.
nullify the initial
Onage.
Marks the spot.
their positioning is really on point, and now saying that, you've given the gem over to Polaris, and you have Moonlight Shadow as well, so it's really not going to be easy.
Dominating, I guess. Double kill.
Moonlight Shadow, okay, he's moving around
Plague
this right sort of
spreader.
area, but they actually just
In
go a
your
little bit
dream?
to the north of him. In your dream,
Oh,
he's
no,
the one
no,
that gets
no, what are you
scored.
doing there? Paulison's gonna try and
course.
protect him, but he's still gonna lose his life. Paulo would join him in the afterlife, and Polaris
Invisibility.
licking their lips, weren't expecting the Luna.
A galloping
Their best to try and,
infection.
do a little bit of that split push, but Anek's probably one of the worst heroes at doing so. I mean, again, I liked his position.
I
He was just standing
go.
there, but they just went. It's one of those luck things, right? Maybe he could have been standing closer to the tree lines so that when the smoke pops, he can still somewhat get away. But I mean, you can't really fault too much about that with In Your Dream. He was just in position to be able to react to any kind of smoke play, and was just
Dominating, I guess. Own it.
I reap your
Your
life.
dream, he was free farming for quite some time this game.
Yes.
You know, top of the net worth, but that Tomb is really taking the throne at the moment. 17, level 20, so he's telling him, "Yo, work your knees."
Onage.
He's found the jump too. Hurricane might disrupt him a little bit. As he's around the area, is it going to be enough, in fact, to keep alive? BKB
The enemy's
can
middle
They'll
tower
find the kill
has
on top of the
fallen.
line. So at least they get something before they're able to TP out. My god, it takes so much time to kill him through the burrow.
I'll plague you.
50%
Your
less
bottom
damage.
tower
I mean,
is under
it's
attack.
a lot to have to deal with on top of the Essence Ring, but at least they're getting something out
I
of it, right?
run
Sure,
rancid.
you pop the BKB on the Lash Rack, but it also allows all server damage.
A
Some more stuff that's going to be able to go
infection.
Tide Hunter. The question is, have you left it too late? Tide with his free wave.
Mega kill. Onage.
stench of death is upon you.
In the entire series with the Tide Hunter, and now he's got the refresher available. Have to keep tabs on potentially how Yorkam's going to play with the Nixus. He's going to level 2 in the meta burn, but he can be somewhat of a nuisance here.
Vector marks the small shankers.
Put the importance on getting rid of the mana on Tide.
Plagues.
Mega kill.
He's sweating a little bit for Nickel Galaxy though. They want to get this one step closer. They only need to beat Done after this to guarantee themselves a spot in that Division 1. So a lot to play for. Seeing some of those great neutral items start to come out as well. Paladin Sword for the racing, bumping up Cowl. Throwing that thing down as well. So you've got multiple ways now as well. You've got that deal with them. Completely remove Paulson from the team.
Marks the spot.
They're unstoppable.
I mean, Mizu is going to have to take quite some time to get to work in
Double kill.
Don't go off half-cocked.
really favored through a lot of these fights. It has to seem like Enigma Galaxy need to maybe kite one hero across the map so Polaris take a disadvantage fight in regards to numbers, and then they can jump.
Yeah, but they've just been doing it with Ember Spirit.
Your song has fallen to the Radiant.
Rejoin the fight with his Flame Remnant.
Okay.
Setup we've got here.
They're
Yokam
gonna
is
follow
getting
up
his
as well with
spot.
Force!
Oh,
One
man.
Ravage onto 4, the second Ravage as well! The blow up, the last strike, it's now going to be all off the back of In Your Dream. They've got the initial stun on the Lelouch, but where's the follow-up afterwards? There's no answer. Polaris overwhelming them throughout the team fight. They're going to try and bring him down under the tier 2. They'll do so with ease. And now Mizu, the sole survivor, is doing whatever he can, but it's back up to daytime. No more split charges. In the end, a 5-man wipe as Polaris. Again, what a fight.
Why you first picked the Tide Hunter for Force? Turns out he's pretty good on the hero, hitting another 4-man Ravage. What an amazing one. I mean, that's the way you counter BKB. Just get on top of them before they do it.
They're unstoppable.
Assassin either. Shattered Even has the cast range with the Aether Lens and the Psychic Headband, but it just wasn't there. Ooh, nice.
Carapace
Body
from
block there.
Yokam. Doing some nice individual plays. He doesn't get the fire out fast enough, which might cost him his life. It's Natsumi. 900 damage crit, gets rid of the Nyx Assassin, back to the objectives they go. Or not. How did they go? They got Roshan, that is an objective.
It's just really good play coming out from Force, to be perfectly honest. You know, it gives you such an easy time on Natsumi is the big thing, right? Like, he's already got the Blink Dagger, so he can quickly look to join in a lot of these engagements. And we haven't really had that fight where In Your Dream can just sit there around the Nyx Assassin and Burrow.
The enemy's
and just
top
right
tower
click.
has
Pop
fallen.
the BKB, pop the Eclipse, and right click. It hasn't happened a single time, and that's because Enigma Galaxy just seemed to get one of these heroes picked off at the start of all of these engagements.
Yes.
Your
Some of
bottom
it is
tower
the
is under
vision.
attack.
I mean, just have a look while we sit in this pause at some of the radiant vision they've placed down, right? It's nice and deep. It provides some of these the visual unorthodox areas at this stage of the game, and it just gives them complete understanding of what sort of areas they can look to rotate to. This one in the mid lane set up that Ravage, right? And it's not really an area that you would think to cover with a Sentry Ward at 31 minutes into the game.
100% at this stage in the game, you put yourselves in a position to play like this when you give up that gem. Now you give up the Aegis as well. The Lelouch Level 23 has the second life. They gave Natsumi the Ag Shard too.
Yep. Why not? You going up against Mana Burn. Totally on board with that. I was kind of thinking maybe the Ember Spirit, because obviously you've got the Refresher Orb as well. It just enables you so heavily to have the Fire Remnant Ag Shard just to continuously replenish these charges, because you're going to be clearing
Payback doesn't
I know they
mean
can win that game,
negative.
how he's able to play it. Game 2, early game, but the 18
That was unreal.
I mean, it's the Mac Ember, 8-0-10. He's got the Ags, got the Refresher. The man's on a mission to take this series.
For sure. I mean, just have a look at Paulson's quick buy. No, this isn't a pub. He's not raging. He's not just buying the Shadow Amulet and sitting in the trees. I actually quite like it, especially just the naked Shadow Amulets, but you got to get the gem back first, because the person that's going to be diving you is the Ember Spirit, and, you know, you can sit in the Invis all you want, he's still going to be able to kill you.
Yeah, just naked Shadow Amulets, with especially the defensive supports and how you position yourself as you do. This forced out, the Lush's going to jump as well with the backline. They're going to try and target down the Shadow Demon. Just yet takes the defensive banishment, but now the Lush afterwards. 3 pickings. He's lacking a little bit of the mana, but the quadruple remnant.
The plague vector
The enemy's bottom tower
Just had
has
enough mana
fallen.
to get that last remnant away. Obviously wanting to commit quite heavily there. And, well, at least, obviously, again, they're good at late game dose, especially around this high ground, and they're good at playing around their buybacks. They had to use the one there on the Shadow Left rank, of course, one of the best abilities to be able to stop that high ground. There's Alacrity.
quickly.
Jesus, the Lush is already 25.
Yeah, it's challenging. Because why not?
Yeah, backpack BKB, why not? 34 minutes in.
Plague spreader.
This guy's chilling. Incredibly farmed. I mean, this has to be methodical end here from Polaris. 18,000 lead, 4% probability for Dire. I mean, they're just... We haven't really seen signs of life in regards to team fights. It's just been Polaris really overwhelming them.
Someone's been picked off at the start every single time.
Polaris mis-executing initiation and heavily committing into a higher gun where you've got Nyx borrowed, Luna
There shall be I'm under attack.
Yeah, they got arrowed there from super long range on the Shadow Demon. They're going to be very easily able to It's kind of a rough position to be in, right? Because Lelouch, he wants to be able to play consistently forward with this Aegis, but he's out of playing with charges, also out of mana. So of course he's going back to base. Who's going to be the next one that gets caught out? I really in recent times, and he had to TP all the way back because it felt like they would have lost rack if he did.
I like the early Ag shot pick up as well from Mavis. Like 36 minutes in, I don't know how early that is, but...
Oh, he had it a while ago. I want to say like at least 10 minutes ago.
Well, let's see how they can defend. So difficult going to the Nyx Burrow. The Splitter, Aghanim shot as well.
Vector of infection.
There's another Aghanim Scepter as well for the Mirana. So able to keep these waves pushed out.
My tissues run.
Storm this one out. 20,000 number. How difficult it is to be able to use the high ground of these. Having it.
Of course.
Killing spree. Transforming. Double kill. Mega kill. They're unstoppable. Ultra. My favorite kill is the Mononage.
Caught out here, so no blue skies for him.
The enemy's middle tower
Yeah, what
has
exactly are
fallen.
they waiting for?
The enemy's middle barracks has fallen.
Pressure for the longest
The enemy's
time.
middle barracks
Switching that up.
has fallen.
You know, maybe cancel out
The enemy's bottom tower
maybe
has
do a
fallen.
bit
The
more
enemy's
damage
bottom
to
barracks has fallen.
the Tide Hunter,
The enemy's bottom barracks
all the damage
has
this
fallen.
guy's even got a bottle DD room. It's you know, something that might force them to play a little bit more defensively, but it still kind of is the question of what exactly are you waiting for? You know, like this is Polaris, they're much less likely to make a mistake than some of the other teams. I think the Galaxy have come up with. This is still within at the end of the day.
If you were a millennial, I'd say wicked sick.
Your flesh.
This is somehow a team that
Godlike. Oh no.
do the exact same thing this game, but
I'm done.
My eyes.
Own it.
Why not? They've at least got Scotty, so it gives you a little bit of that extra high potential. And they ended up using this smoke just to get your drink on.
Nexus has some runs. He's going to be okay. Lelouch's trying to target him with Poland. He's able to do so successfully, but he has compromised his own position. Pressure used out to safety. Mizu is going to try and at least control first the north. Second skill outwards.
Godlike.
Two here for the Knicks.
You taste your own rotting
No
tongue.
BKB on the left. And no Shadow Demon. Be very careful with his positioning here on Alacrity.
Cam, does he get the ball? No, he doesn't.
It happened again. Double kill.
The enemy's middle tower
Ayo,
has
this still
fallen.
available. Maybe they've
Purulent corpse.
overcommitted themselves here.
There they go.
Oh, the arrow finds a connection.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Drop the finger and get rid of position one. And now
Trash
Marks the
two.
spot.
Natsumi standing his ground. The target through the left track. It does still fall to the AoE damage, but the price, with
Radiant
Oh boy. I mean, enough the Wraith King at the end has become a little bit surprising. Alacrity, he's holding them in this game right now, and it still ended up costing him his own life. The amount of life steal that you're getting back on this Wraith King is
Is he even
nuts.
gonna get the kill?
I mean, he's still playing with his Shadow Amulet around the Ember Spirit, and it's, sorry bro, it's not gonna work. Every one of those kills as well, again, it's got the shard right on Ember, so it just replenishes one of those charges. He can keep diving in further and further. Got up to 98% win probability. I'm on board with that. I'm in agreement.
At least I don't even know if I can say at least. Get rid of all of Lucius mana. That'll push him back for the higher ground. They've survived at least to live another day. Damn, well, dude, Ember's even gone Dagon. So yeah, fun life here for the supports.
Just want to make sure you can get those kills, right? Refresh those remnant charges. Second Dagon with a refresher.
That's a lot of mana. Oh, he's got the spell prison. No, love to see it.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
I mean, you see Polo. As you flex those muscles. See some Polo cross the map outside the bench. You got a job. Roche is up in the third Roche of the game, so we've got Agonies, Cheese, and the Ages. Who do we want to give the Ags to?
Honestly, Wraith King. Like, why not? Right? I mean, yeah, even if you're able to burst down a lot of these heroes, you're still going to be able to get off all of your ultimates, even just like the Ember Spirit, right? You can chuck a Fire Remnant down that you might not have been able to previously, and then even if you need to buy back, bam, instantly rejoin the fight.
I like this switch up as well. They've given Wraith King the Aegis. Just, it was nice on the Ember previously through the first 2 Roshas, but he's not going to be the one hitting the high ground. So just put Wraith King there.
And they've got next to 0 like instant lockdown for the Ember Spirit, right? So he can just continue zipping around the fight, distracting entirely while Natsumi hits objectives.
That he's doing with no care in the world.
Your
Swift
turn
Blink,
to ban.
Solar Crest.
5 seconds
cares?
remaining.
Looks like they're just going to give up bottom. Decide to find some formation for the top lane defense. And Xavius just charging forward, maybe trying to hope to pop the Aeon Disc early from Mizu, but well, they'll force out at least an early primal split. Xavius is down to the low ground. And Mizu will get nothing out of it.
It's just about, you know, again, death by 1,000 cuts. Get rid of all those little resources. 1 primal split charge means that
10 seconds
you're going to have some
remaining.
good effectiveness around those BKBs when you look to use them. See that
5
first
seconds
Dagon
remaining.
be finished up there for Ember Spirit. Just to make sure that he doesn't get too antsy buying out, getting a little bit greedy for the damage, because he still does need to have that buyback at the end of the day.
Lelouch? Jesus. Wonder he doesn't give a damn. Jump in, why not? Such a high net worth lead.
10 seconds
Almost
remaining.
blowing up the Nyx Assassin, but still, it'll compromise the Shadow Demon. Now they can look to
5
bring down
seconds
Yokan.
remaining.
Busy with a second use of the split. Natsumi's fallen pretty low, but he does have multiple lives available. Because now they're on top of In Your Dream. A BKB into the TP out. There'll be no cancel. But now it'll just enable Polaris to deal with the rest of the cause. Less Shack on the agenda. 100 seconds on the deck. Mizu next as well. He's still got the Aeon Disc. Primal split on cooldown. And it should just be the tier 4s. And the game is Polaris will continue to remain undefeated here in Division 2. What a showing, what a comeback in Game 2, and what a series.
Still haven't had a single team
Oh,
fight
man,
where In Your Dream.
Why's he gonna do it to him? Like, you didn't ban the tide, you
Prepare
left
for
it
battle.
available, you didn't counter pick it, and force, I mean, he's penalizing them. Time after time, multi-hero Ravagers thrown exposed. In Your Dream exposes Natsumi jumping on 4. They've got rid of the Luna. And Polaris have now finally secured it.
30 seconds to
43k
battle.
net worth lead, by the way, at the end of it all. But yeah, just give Polaris comfort and you will suffer. And that is absolutely what they did in both of their wins, with the Tide Hunter, the Ember Spirit, and of course, can't undersell Natsumi's Phantom Lancer as well. So congratulations to Polaris. They remain the only undefeated team in Division 2. They moved to 6-0, with Enigma Galaxy being 5-1 at this stage. And it still does
The
leave
battle begins.
the three-way tiebreaker. So now, Enigma Galaxy, they need to win against Lilgun with their last game of the overall. I believe that might be the last game of the entire league. I might be wrong there.
Wait, Enigma
But,
vs. Lilgun, if you said that, yeah.
Yes. And then the other scenario that needs to happen for the three-way tiebreaker is that Ragdoll needs to beat Polaris, because then you would have 3 teams on 6-1. And I'm happy to see tiebreakers. I want to see more of this Dota happening and really make it a fight to the bitter end.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an exceptional run so far through Division 2. All the weeks we've had, we're now done and dusted with week 5. We're not done and dusted for SEA action tonight, however. We got 2 Division 1 matches. Fnatic vs Execration will be starting shortly, still on BTS. The channel will go down for a brief moment. Stick around. We'll see you guys shortly for Division 1.
Denied.
Test your metal.
It is denied.
Absolutely. What's over there? Interesting. With pleasure. What's over there? I'm under attack. Suffer my sorcery. Such fascinating energy.
Long may you be remembered.
Very good. Much better. If it pleases me. I see.
Cruise Flight. Thanks and have fun.
First blood. What is this? With pleasure. What's over there? Chaos. Absolutely. Interesting. What's over there? Curious. If it pleases me. I agree. Interesting. Absolutely.
Your middle tower is under attack. Worthy tribute.
Check. I understand. Such fascinating energies.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yes. Very good. Yes. Indeed. With pleasure. I see. Excellent idea. That's with pleasure. What's over there? There are none who cannot be in a chapter in my head.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Hello, this is Gabe Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
That's how it's done.
Double kill. Killing spree.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Only full of wonders.
Invisibility. Radiant structures are fortified.
As it pleases me. Absolutely. Excellent idea. This gives me an idea. I understand. Torn pages from my grimoire.
We're a hell of a team next, aren't we?
Your top tower is under attack.
I think beyond this. Down. Under attack.
Killing spree.
With pleasure. Such fascinating images. With pleasure. Yuck! What's over there? What's over there? If it pleases me. Not exactly.
Oh, you thought you were winning?
Killing spree.
Is under attack.
At least we're not stuck in cords.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen.
Interesting. I see. Absolutely. Let's eat dirt. Your grimoire is mine. Face the makers. Attack. Indeed. I understand. How peculiar. Such fascination. Yes.
A dominating performance.
Let me admit, excellent idea. I'll mind the drop.
back to another day of SEA DPC Division 1 action. I'm going to be your host, Nat T, and joining me on the panel is Shifu.
Absolutely.
Today.
Some nice pants.
I really like your outfit, actually.
I like it a lot. Let's go.
If it pleases
If anyone... Oh, I mean, we love your outfit too, guys. Don't worry.
No, I didn't get the yellow pants memo. Golden pants.
Golden
pants.
pants.
These are from my favorite
curious.
If you guys were seeing earlier, you would have seen the very phenomenal
Yes.
that we had hosted by Aries and Danos.
I'm under attack.
One, but instead Lawrence ended up taking that series.
Interesting. This should come in handy.
I was
What's over there?
I'm happy for Polaris because some of those guys were Division 1 players for most last season, and then they left the Neon org. This was like kind of like the ex-Neon, so they were Division 1 and then they lost because they left the org. They're a great team, but the potential for tiebreakers was bragging.
Mind the drop.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen.
T1 and Boom, we are so hyped. We think it's going to be a gold match.
Gold pants dance, gold pants. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I mean, everyone. I think it was much more exciting.
Your middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. I'm sorry. Did you say
I think it's like, it's that big moment where it's like, okay, now we're playing. I see.
That's a good
Such
Should check out
fascinating
Division 1
imagery.
standings. But yes, the Boom,
Absolutely.
SMG, T1, all of those guys are up there on the ladder in top 3 positions. So if there were to be a major-esque thing happening, those three are looking in contention to be going.
With pleasure.
Fnatic, Execration, Motivate, Trust.
Prepare to be tested.
worthy tribute?
T1 to me is a team that is going to play better.
Absolutely.
Just because they did so well TI and then they took a break. I think we mentioned it last season.
Interesting.
Vinci would be like, you can hold it. Still in kind of chill out mode after.
Yeah, they just
Very good.
burn out. And that's like respectable in a way, but I think we've seen a lot of
Absolutely.
have been trying to perform. Like for example, like TNT, they bombed out, they're getting relegated. It's really sad, but their improvement over
Try me now.
like phenomenal. Whereas T1, I think, have
Excellent idea.
TNC have gone from like a 5 to like an 8. It's like it's cool.
You want to give them a 5?
This will be fun.
It's pretty sad. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Like I really want to do that.
Killing spree.
There's something.
I see.
For a tie that could lead to them potentially going down.
What's over there?
It is a little pretty important from Fnatic and Execration, and we actually caught up with them earlier this week to see what they had to think about.
Absolutely.
Your top tower is under attack.
This is the type of team that
Your top tower has fallen.
and
Dominating. guess.
Tusk, tusk, tusk.
Your middle tower has fallen.
I'm quite confident about our team now, so I'm confident that we can
Your
win
middle
this.
tower
I
is
think
under
they
attack.
depends on Raven farming. They create space for Raven. You want to farm Raven so that we can win the game.
Mega kill.
I suppose murder's not an honest living. Quite reasonable.
They're a bit strong. Their draft is kind of unique, and I think the way they play around their carry.
I trust my carry Nando. He's so confident. I like his energy when
Your
he
top
say
tower is
he
under
can
attack.
win this game. I trust him. I trust my teammate Bob. I like Bob because he gives us confidence because he said, don't worry about me. Really? I like it. Okay.
Right now, we are already slowly figuring out how we want to play the game and what everyone's role is like in our team. That alone, I think we can win just by fixing our own stuff.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
They're unstoppable.
And should take the edge off.
That was so great. I love hearing this.
I love Suzu. He does like all of the media stuff for us.
Your bottom tower has fallen.
You know, when they're losing, it's like Bob probably had a everyone else kind of struggled a little bit. He's like got some cheese in his pocket. He plays like Bat Rider and stuff. His quap is looking really good right now, so that might be like a contested thing for them. I know one of their like favorite openings they did against like SFG, and they just won a series against like a M11 or something. If you hate something,
Your bottom
That was,
tower
as
is
they
under
say,
attack.
but they're
wicked
opening,
sick.
like, Quap and Ogre is something they like, which is kind of not meta right now. Like Quap is very contested. Ogre not so much. And it's an opening that they seem to like, so maybe they'll fall on it this one because they're feeling good about it. Because something that I feel bad about with Execration is they've been losing. They lost like a lot of games in a row. Quite a series. It like feels bad. He looks pretty
Monster kill.
What's over there?
For me, their advantage is the
Killing spree.
Your middle barracks are under attack. Your middle barracks has fallen. Your middle tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen. Your bottom barracks are under attack. Your bottom barracks has fallen.
I feel like they kind of take that.
So
Your middle tower is under
It's like
attack.
a team-to-team thing. Like you want to ban here Fnatic because John.
that's how it's done.
They're very flexible with it.
Indeed.
I'm wondering if Execration here are going to prioritize Bob. I think it's just a hero that maybe they also want to maybe hold
The sorcerer
stings. They don't have second pick. Fnatic won the point plus.
I
So they're going to get
see.
like these counter picks in second and third phase.
Meta picks at this going.
as it pleases.
We really don't score against it.
Yeah, kind of like it feels like at the end of the day, out of like 7 or 8 heroes, 4 of which will be banned. Okay, today Monkey King's been went off. That's something that we're going to be considering. You know, just something has to always get through. You can't ban 7 or 8.
Monkey King was actually a quick coming into the second half of this season, but I don't think it's sitting up there anymore. I think there have been a few
Roshan has fallen to the dial.
Yeah, the hero's totally fallen out of favor. I just think that all these heroes kind of counter well, like Weavers, Spirit Breakers, and Fox. Like, they're just heroes that.
Killing dominating, I guess. Killing spree.
Tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen. Your top barracks are under attack.
That since moving down to off lane as a captain.
Your top barracks has fallen. Your middle tower has fallen. Your top barracks has fallen. Your ancient is under attack.
Killing spree. Dominating performance.
Dire victory.
Kind of likes to stick to the heroes that's working for him. I wouldn't consider him a super high skill 5 players, but he's just a solid player. Knows how to kind of do his role. And like, it doesn't have like this high ceiling, but he's got a good floor. Like, he's gonna give you a good performance.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd like to contrast him to Januel. We were talking in the series with TNC, like Febby was picking DP into Spirit Breaker, and we were kind of like saying, oh wow, this is like kind of new and like interesting. But when I was looking back at past games, actually like 9 days ago, Fnatic was down 5 in like two games and like doing really well with it. So it seems they were even more ahead of the curve with this like upcoming DP meta. It's a shame they didn't pick it this game. Spirit Breaker's banned. I think the heroes just been picked up in general, and it looks good as a 5, even not against Spirit Breaker. But yeah, Fnatic were definitely a team that was playing that, and it looked it.
Your turn to ban. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, even something like the Nyx Assassin has not been the go-to support for the SA region at all. I think we've seen a lot more of the Nyx in China as well as Western Europe. It's kind of been a popular support there. OD kind of coming out, and you know, the quality is mid lane. I mean, Nyx is always good against the mid lane. Feels like a couple of exceptions. Not surprised to see Fnatic pick it up because they're just one of the few teams that does seem to favor Nyx.
The last time I saw Nyx in my favor was all that time ago back then.
10 seconds remaining.
Like against OD, obviously it's like
5 seconds remaining.
Nyx is also just nice against all the spirit heroes and Poison and Pains, the like Banes, the ability to like kind of hunt down supports. Okay, right. I really hope this is an offlane Jakiro, but it's probably not. But I really hope.
Like a Nyx Jakiro lane? That sounds not bad.
Dude, people have been playing it. It's exciting. Like General played it, and that was so exciting.
It was within Spirit Breaker in the same
It
lane,
was,
right?
yeah. Nyx Assassin kind of fulfills that body-ish type role. It's not as good as Spirit Breaker, but because I remember going at Jakiro 5. Why would you pick that? That hero sucks. And then they play offlane.
Like, I love this hero now.
Yeah.
And
Whoa!
What? You think TA bad into Jakiro?
Yeah, I think like TA played as a carry, right?
Yeah.
So if you just put Jakiro offlane, like that's a really hard lane. That being said, the Tusk is like pretty cool.
Maybe they're just playing TA mid.
Yes.
Pick up their carry later on. I think the
Prepare
nice thing with
for
the
battle.
touch on is like you kind of touched, like mentioned earlier before. It's like
Chosen
you have a
assassin
way to
of the greatest goddess Nyx, I can promise you that this one's in battle.
And you want to like either bait it or at least have a way to save them in the ice path.
I'm really liking the Tuscan one. It's variety. We
30
haven't seen
seconds
it
to
picked
battle.
up. Like that's probably the biggest thing. But I also just really like the Tuscan hero.
Same, I love us. DJ was saying in the pre-game thing, right, that they just play like their own
Coming
through.
through.
They have like a bunch of different heroes, and this is like showing it. I think Tusk is really nice,
Head now.
especially against like a Jakiro trying to defend towers. It was like a way to collapse on top of him and to kill him. It also helps with roaching
The
and
battle
stuff, makes your lane
begins.
just a bit stronger. It's like I'm assuming they're putting OD off lanes.
So much meat,
that, like, helps
so
him
little
and stuff.
time.
Keeps him safe.
Right.
Does Tusk play into oh, now we can't pick these certain heroes?
Yep.
Tusk is going to be on the enemy team?
I mean, it makes the lane really strong, but it's not like overwhelmingly OP, otherwise it'd be more picked.
Yeah, it doesn't super block too many heroes. I think the thing here for Execration, where it's like they're kind of challenging Fnatic to do something to just shut down a TA. I feel like whenever TA comes out, it's not quite the same impact as like the Brood, but it's a similar effect where it's like, okay, this hero just wants to like flash farm at a really fast time with Dragonlance chest and maybe a blink and kick rotation and then just take it. You've got to address the stacks, you've got to address the base lane, and Fnatic do directly respond. Hero Darkseid now, they've got very good ways to go through refraction.
Forward!
Compression.
Punch.
I really like like 100 on so I've been watching a lot of those replays.
Cut to the chase!
And
Hello, I'm Gabe Newell.
lane, especially
You've
if they,
just
like,
achieved first blood. Thanks and have fun.
I think this Ogre
You don't feel the pain!
assuming they want to put TA in mid. But like it kind of blocks out a lot of carries, like you can't pick like Lunas and Terrorblades and whatever into Dark Souls. It's really hard. Like a hero like Ogre is usually meant to be this big body that doesn't die, or actually dies pretty easily to like leveled up Iron Shell against Dark Souls.
Yeah, the carries that are good against us, they're kind of fewer. And some of them you don't want to play with TA. Like you don't want to pick Antimate.
Wait me.
Yeah.
Your draft is going to suck. So even though AM is one of the Darkseer counters, it's no good. So with Bloodseeker does
Yeah, like the nice thing about Dark Souls is plays you have your luck, you look
some range do the ones that can like a Medusa that can clear out the a little better than like the Drows and other stuff, which don't push the wave at all. But it's you still look like OD, TA, Medusa. It's pretty greedy. I mean, Medusa with TA, same thing as the AM. Pretty greedy. Like, can you get away with that? They'd rather something that doesn't need as much farm. A lot of
Yeah.
I look at
Chopper's looking sharp.
like maybe they do have to put TA on carry and OD mid or something, and then OD mid sucks against Pop. I don't know, but like they're missing team fight, for example. Like they have currently no way to fight. Like how do you start fight? There has to be a real cut running in and like these melee dudes with big health pools and like kill us, but then where's your like real cat?
I keep thinking of heroes that seem like they'd maybe fix it, and then I'm like, but it's bad versus Nyx. Like, people talk about safe play, like Puck versus Blob, because team fights and has and then think there's a Nyx. At some point, you just have to suck it up and maybe pick a hero that's good for your draft, even if there's a Nyx assassin. Like, you can't just live in fear of a Nyx assassin. Don't pick these. They just do something. That's the hero I like to see. Yeah, it's a Nyx, but
TA is gonna get
Nature's ready.
Hello, this is Gabe Newell. Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
You don't want to leave an OD alone.
OD can't do
yeah.
that.
Maybe you're doing some early rotations where you get OD like level 2, level 3 and feel like you can do a sneaky little tunnel to help to kill the Darkseer or something. But then anytime you leave the OD alone, you're going to get OD out of the lane.
And then you want the mid boss is one of the help. Your top can help you. Again, like you're leaving your two heroes literally can't be left alone. So Fnatic right now seem like they have way more agency on like all their lanes.
Yes!
Denied. A lot of Mixed carries have banned out.
Killing spree.
Like, heroes kind of slow, like a Medusa. They don't really have a lot of damage. OD's kind of okay against it, but like how good
Dire's structures are fortified.
Okay, cool.
Tempo. This is let's put pressure on like TA, not let her take over the game. I think you mentioned it's gonna be a tough TA lane anyway.
I'm making the shot and recovery anyway.
Take over the game, but Darkseer really like Iron Shell hero.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Oh
It
damn.
could go either way, right?
Yeah,
he
yeah.
either kills his lane, like usually, or you like don't kill anyone.
He's relying on his team.
Fresh chop!
Definitely, absolutely gonna win in your eyes.
I like Fnatic's lineup more, just as a whole. I think they cover a lot more bases. I think their fighting is a lot easier to do. I like the execution as a whole, super nice and easy. Execution just like minion plus lanes, just a bit difficult.
Yeah. I would agree with that, and I'd say like Kamizu's
Coming
better
through.
on some of these more like team fighty frontline offlaners. I don't think OD necessarily suits him that well. I hope he proves me wrong, because I think execution draft is okay, but
Right to
With the execration
I'll
drop,
bring the sword to the land.
with the Chaos Knight coming out, are you a big fan of the last
Bigger
overall for
paints.
Fnatic, or do you feel like execration might have what it takes?
I like the Chaos Knight. I mean, any time that you're
The
going up
enemy's
against
middle
OD, I
tower
feel like
has
you
fallen.
need to pick something to build consistently in the lane. Paired together with the hero, it's alright, you know, you get a little bit of the slows going on there, which is of course very
There's a bit of
impactful. But it does feel like you are kind of sitting a little bit more AFK with this Jakiro, at least until you're able to pick up that Aghanim shot. Sieging in onto the towers, and some other ways to provide that little bit of mini stun, and just another way to get through those distraction charges.
Double kill.
So we'll see how this lane goes.
Killing spree. Impossible.
Bet going on between us. We're currently
Your
even with our
bottom tower
games.
is
The
under
winner
attack.
gets, what was it, a free dinner and I think a cream. So
And a slab of mate mate, let's not forget that.
Oh, and a slab of mate as well. So there's some things on the line for either team and also us. Of course, execration playing off the back of making sure they don't get relegated. Fnatic, potentially if they can take 2 series, maybe edging their way into top 3. How are we feeling about this game 1 draft? Who are we putting our money on?
I'm going to put my faith in Fnatic. Their performances just across the board have seemed a little bit more solid, and we've got this nice lane on the side lanes, of course, with the Nyx Assassin and the Darkseer. Even if you start to get bullied out of the lane a little bit, you've always got the potential to just go and cut the lanes, and with an Ogre, you can't hold him in place for a super long time, right? You can always just turn around, stun, and then continue running away with the creep. So you're going to be able to get a decent amount of farm in most of these lanes, I feel.
It definitely felt like there was some hesitancy with how execration kind of dropped himself in a little bit of a corner. And he's by far one of the best heroes, and I know we took to cast Bob back on Southfield in games where he was on the puck and it was against really bad matchups.
Your bottom tower
How's his
fallen.
team? And only time will tell, but it's definitely not a good matchup versus Nyx, and the lane versus Quaff is really rough.
It is certainly quite rough. And, well, also, we've seen, of course, some great performances from Bob. We've also seen some chain feeding from him as well. So I think these first few minutes are really going to set the tone for how the overall game is going to turn out here with, you know, it's a decent matchup against the Queen of Pain. Plenty of ways to be able to dodge out the Shadow Strike, which means that Armel, he might go what a lot of these Quaps do these days and just completely avoid going into that at all and just try and spam out that Stream of Pain as much as possible.
The panel was saying that this bottom lane, the Darks in the Nyx Assassin, feels like it's going to be a really strong matchup. The TA doesn't really have a side lane where she'd be comfortable. Are you in agreement with this? Do you feel like maybe Vincenzo can offset some of the advantage they have from Fnatic?
A little bit, but again, you are still playing a melee into Ion Shell. So as soon as you hit up onto level 3, that's going to be the key timing that they're going to get here. Maybe even level 2, to be honest, on Fnatic to be able to bully him out a little bit. And until Nando gets a few more points into the side blades, even just having the refraction isn't going to save you, right? You're always going to have that Ion Shell slowly ticking away at you and making your life a whole lot more miserable. So I want to see Execration put a lot of emphasis onto getting some of these stacks up as quickly as possible.
Forward!
Don't really have the greatest stacking here on the position 4. I mean, Carlo on the Tusk is quite often a hero that likes to play in the lane. You know, you've got an outward Devourer, so maybe if you can catch out Genuel away from the protection of the Chaos Knight, he might also look to maybe put a little bit more so really excited to see how he can actually change his game, maybe to just put some emphasis on stacking for TF.
Amel actually got the luxury of being able to go into a point in the Shadow Strike. Can we just keep it at 1? I mean, that's what a puck does, right? Like, you're able to get the better end of most of these kinds of trades. Oh, here we go. This was like I was wanting 3 kills in this lane, right? It's not up to the OG, so at least there's that. Mizu's been able to
accustomed to what a Jakiro and a Chaos Knight can do together?
No, I think it should be just fine. I mean, with the Tusk, most of the time you're going to be able to dodge out a lot of this stuff, at least once you get up onto level 3. You're going to have a point in the snowball to be able to dodge out some of the slower projectiles, but
they're going in again.
Go on to Kamizu, yeah, but again, I don't think he'll be dying here. Like, it's going to be Zhao hitting level 4 that's the real game changer in my mind, right? 2 points to the dual breath, doubles the damage that it does. And most games you kind of want to avoid going even a single point into the ice path unless you've got a real big reason to have it. And this game you do, because you're going to be coming up against that meteor hammer. So from very long range to be able to disrupt that combo.
Trying to drive back into the Impale, so they're trying to utilize the slow tick and the burn.
Top
and
again.
now they'll just turn their attention to the Ogre as top lane. Kimizu is going to end up getting dropped, and there's the kill starting to block one over for Fnatic.
Sorry to our observer there. Their kills happening all across the map at the exact same point in time. So kind of like what we were expecting, the Fnatic lineup. Of course, excelling in the laning stage, even able to go back again onto Nando here. A lot of damage, but they are out of mana. So let's see if they're going to try and make something happen here with this, with Nando being fed over the healing salve. Vincenzo obviously just putting his body up there in their face.
Killing spree. A dominating performance.
I mean, he's basically level on.
Raven top on Carlo.
He's got the snowball though.
Kimizu nearby. Asher will give him some space, and with the snowball, Odie's trying to do whatever he can to beat onto Raven, who's actually going to turn it back around. Stick charge is available. Do they dive deep under the tower? They're playing on the outskirts. Raven's going to drag
Your
him
bottom
out.
tower
Still
is under attack.
Alive is Raven.
He spent that entire fight with a gauntlets of strength in his backpack.
Radiant
so
structures
maybe
are
that extra little bit of strength, the extra damage might have been enough.
Your bottom tower is under
to
attack.
allow him to, you know, take one more hit to do a little bit more damage. The crit, of course, worth even more. Such close run. And they are reducing the amount of farm so he's been able to pick up.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Relative, like he's
Double kill.
Was just too much, and Vincenzo
your middle
all the
tower
way back
is
to
under
base, not
attack.
having the mana.
Double kill.
TP scroll means that he's in a little bit of a rough spot. with this Bassi ring. I'm a big fan of going into the Veil of Discord on the Ogre, but I mean, it's really only going to be the puck that gets a huge benefit.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Not the TA and the Tusk.
Your middle tower has fallen.
Potential with this coil, a TP into coil if Fnatic get a little bit too aggressive on some of the side lanes, which we've seen them do so far. Close dives top and bottom, just posturing so aggressively, and this is what you'd come to expect with their draft. I mean, really strong side lanes, and honestly, all 3 lanes, considering how Armel's going 38 and 10.
Doing a lot to deny away a lot of that experience that Bob's been able to get. He's about half a level or so behind. And
this should make my life easier.
I mean, you see an OD and oftentimes you think, oh, all right, Meteor Hammer. Not this game. I mean, he's just ended up doing it up, but he's had power treads queued up for the longest time. Obviously, just realizing the strength of being able to, go up against the things we were talking about. The Jafiro, he's got the 1 point in the Ice Path now. So, provided that you're just not, putting yourself as an offering to be able to be killed, you're going to be able to have that counter initiation onto an OD. And, to set up for those meteors, you need to use the Astral. You're not going to have escape potential for yourself. You are leaving yourself incredibly vulnerable if you're not using the Astrals along with the players. Whereas, previously, as soon as you hit that level 6, it feels like the enemy team can't lane into you. But this time around, it feels like they're...
Now, what are we expecting with the item build to be here for Raven on the Chaos Knight? He's got the armlet queued up at the moment. See potentially any inhibitor going after the armor?
I mean, previously you would go into things like, the Silver Edge, but recently, crit, it means that the Chaos Strike is, like, griefed a little bit. It's like min-max sort of thing.
Killing spree.
You don't actually get the lifesteal from it because you get the Silver Edge's lifesteal and the critical lifesteal. So you kind of need to go down with the
double kill.
That is
killing spree. Dominating, I guess.
Take the puck out of the field.
A dominating performance. Ultra.
He's removed from the equation. They can just constantly just surge run at you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, we've had a
reveal on the map at the moment.
I love the zone on forward. Thanks to a beautiful observer. We've got a little bit of a pause. So it's been a kind of the day of pauses so far. Teams still. You're getting situated. Fnatic though, not really. You're needing too long to start themselves off with the incredible start and lanes. Of course, a 5-1 kill advantage in regards to the boys over on Dial. Like you're saying, though,
Australia vision now in the observer
down
spot.
under. Let's
Your
go.
middle tower
you
is
left me
under
down
attack.
here. That's okay. I'll carry the pride.
You didn't invite me on your family's little trip for your birthday, so... Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Aries, for people that weren't here during the Division 2 series. 22 now. You're ancient.
Ancient. I'm a boomer like you.
Exactly.
Why is it by the...
I got
for Fnatic to at least have the awareness of this move occurring. Even Vincenzo's heading towards top as well. Continues to the start. They'll need some TPs to try and protect Raven. There's the first come into play for the Nyx Assassin, but I mean, Raven's just standing his ground and looking to man-fire. Can they blow up the OT? They can. Now with the help of DJ, they'll turn it back up. 1-2, Armo gets involved. Doesn't have enough mana for the Sonic Wave, but it looks like he doesn't even need it. As somehow Raven keeps his life and Fnatic fighting through.
Close to that armor, CK, one of those heroes that with all of that lifesteal, once he picks it up, is going to be... It feels like you have so much more active HP. It gives you all of that bonus strength, giving you about 450 extra health as a result from using it. And yeah, I mean, I feel like Raven's that highly skilled style of player that's going to use that to its fullest potential. So, I mean, it was the right move to make Raven reduce the amount of farm that Raven's been able to pick up here. But until you have that full-on potential,
they're unstoppable.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower is under attack.
If you were a millennial, I'd say Wicked
6. You are a fool to oppose me.
But again, like
Your
Nando,
top tower
you're
is
generally
under
happy with
attack.
those four-man rotations, even if they don't work out perfectly as TA's farming. But even despite all of this, TA's fallen a fair ways behind. They've built up a little bit of a stack for them around the Ancient Camp, which is nice for that comeback potential. And it's not like Fnatic have amazing ways to take it. Maybe if Zhao hits up onto that level 6 on the Jakira, you'll drop the macro higher on top of everything else to be able to secure it for your team. But there is still some form of a comeback mechanic here for Nando to really put the team on his back and bring them through for a few of these tower engagements.
Fnatic hit first in regards to these Jeffers. And they are incredibly comfortable at the moment. A bit of a Witchblade build here for the Puck. How do you feel about this
Veiled
item
Oracle
overall? 'Cause
chose you.
It has been nerfed over time. Do you feel like this is going to fit the play
Double
style
kill.
that we need to see out of the Puck?
Hard to say, right? Because against the Chaos Knight, with all the burst damage that you're able to deal, it is nice to have that little bit of an extra bit of armor to withstand a lot of the pressure that you're facing. But I kind of feel as well against the
What more
Dark Seer and
stands?
Queen of Pain in particular, hell, even Shakira, right? Having
This
something
should make
like
my life
the,
easier.
Dagger is gonna
Bottom's
be
in trouble.
more
He's gonna
attack.
drop the coil, execution with that three-man rotations, and also overwhelmed. Nando, he needs assistance, he needs it now, but Mizu's a little too far away. Well, secure the kill with the Sonic Wave. And they'll end up finding a 1-for-1 trade across the map.
Taking the stack out, you've got the Siege Streak here, the 10-minute one. Look at this top side of the map, and even popping the Phantasm to make the fight. It's unfortunate, but Kamizu is still, I don't want to say nowhere close to finishing his Meteor Hammer, but he is very slow with picking this up.
killing spree.
Allow Jowell to be able to rotate and make a few of these other kills happen because you haven't gotten the early Meteor Hammer, and also you can't take waves quickly, you can't take neutral camps. He was able to secure that one ancient stack there on the TA. Next one's going to be like Raven up next.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Coverage there by
Dominating, I guess.
Even TP and Bob as well. Around with the armlet toggles Bob. He's got the coil up in a couple of seconds. He's going to try and find the angle on the support initially. Even jaunting for him in the backline, but now they've been able to close the distance as Raven playing with these armlets. It's not enough as Bob secures the kill. Now they're going to look to try and bring down Armel as well. An extra silence to damage. Lucky at the moment the stun's there, but still Armel turns it back around. The rotation coming through from Jackson and trying to provide the damage to get rid of it.
But there's that difference there. You actually had the burst that time around. Raven was very conscious of not wanting to use too much mana unless he absolutely needed to, but at the end of the day, he was able to kill. Kamizu finally getting that with the extra 200 mana. Going to be a nice little tool as well. First down to the heroes that are a little bit slippery, even to get away.
Who got the kill on the Chaos Knight? Okay, so it was Bob, which played very shortly completed here. It definitely feels like the execution. They're playing off the back of whatever Bob can do. You know, he's 3-1-0 at the moment. His kill participation has to be exceptionally high.
Double kill.
Stay in. I like it. Make plays throughout the rest of the map.
Well, giving some space though for Nando nonetheless. Third in net worth, closing the distance on the dash. Once again, it's going to be Kimizu to start, but the ice path position from Genuel will cancel this, and now they'll just turn it back around as Carlo has compromised his own position. You see Fnatic a little bit cautious on how heavily they want to commit until Raven shows up, and now he can follow the distance. It's charging on full thanks to the surge, and they'll blow up the OD once again. It's all Fnatic to start this game. And they're looking to make it a triple as well, as Vincenzo's still sticking around. The straggler penalized for his position. And Raven to find it, and now with Tier 1 Tal mid to boot.
It's all on the back of this Jakiro. The Zhao is playing a fantastic game, going the max ice path, making sure he's interrupting all these OD initiations. Even in previous fights, you know, he probably should have lost a few. He made that recent rotation. Zhao hitting 3-man ice paths consistently. That time around like 2 and 2 again.
I'm under attack!
He's a really solid player and really showing my Fnatic.
Killing spree. Dominating, I guess. Double kill.
And Darks is getting really We're seeing Raven posture as well, so there's really the map to play off the back of just these small kickoffs across the map. Otherwise, I don't see you landing a meteor.
It'd be quite good. Yeah, Jabs, like you mentioned, having very minimal involvement in a lot of these team fights. He's really trying to focus on picking up that first key item for himself, which is going to be that Agni. Great for the Queen of Pain, especially once she's able to pick up that Kaya to
Mega kill.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen.
Alrighty, with this Desolator completed for the team, which is maxed out, so we'll have to see if this
Your
catches
middle
Fnatic
tower
off
is
guard.
under attack.
Key emphasis on a lot of the armor this game from them.
Radiant structures are
Marker
fortified.
highlighted on the panel.
Your
He said
middle
in
tower
order
is
for
under
Execration
attack.
to have any kind of hope, that first road needs to be executed.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Your middle barracks has fallen. Your middle barracks has fallen.
Dark's here, just 100 or so gold away. You can't keep me down. Accept it for himself, and he's got it. Gonna look to play around this bottom side of the map. So the OD's there. The question is, are they going to dive for it?
Coming
They will. Amo instantly answering. It's Kimizu.
Does it again.
Here I come.
Come kind of clutch. I mean, this would be perfect time to try and trade tier 2 for Roche, but he's got half health, so Fnatic could potentially get the tower and then instantly start to get their formation up the top.
Well, they don't lack the ways to take this tower either. Raven popped the Phantasm Yes. In the team fight around Roche Pit, it does happen. Hint somewhat, but at the very least, during this no immediate vision to close in onto this Roche Pit, so I feel like Execration are going to feel okay about this. I mean, they have no one outside of the puck that's really good at defending towers anyway, so I feel like they're happy with that trade.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Probably the first thing that you have to
I think if you can delay the game long enough for Nando to pick BKB on this
Your bottom tower is fallen.
ages, then you'd be in fighting shape. I mean, more than likely we see Fnatic take a fight
Your shine has fallen to the radiant.
Do I want to say they're aligned?
Your bottom tower is under
Like I
attack.
said, this is exactly what they needed for waiting for maybe that.
Killing spree.
Trust me!
They're unstoppable.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Here we go.
If you were a millennial, I'd say wicked sick.
Your bottom tower has fallen.
Disconnected though from Execration, so they're really cautious of how long they look to stick around.
Kind of obvious. I mean, this tower is well, it's a free tower. Running back.
favorite kill is the monster.
Or like it's gonna start Nando behind him as well, and an even better impale landing onto 2, which will slow down the snowball, which is still fast enough to get Nando out to safety. Bob's gonna think about swinging on over from the west, but Nando diving deeper and deeper behind the tier 2 tower. Another great ash shot to give Nando time. And my turn to Bob.
A dominating performance.
Raven is able to find the extra chain control as Bob.
Your middle
Death of
tower
the game
is under
off the
attack.
back of this maxed out ice.
Your middle
Can't
tower
ask for too much
has
more out of
fallen.
Nando though. Dodging 2 stuns with his
Your
spells,
ancient
making
is
sure
under
to
attack.
immediately react to the fact that you know things are happening around the map. You know that they're going for some kind of smoke because it's good ward placement. They're healing
Your
ward
top
down.
tower
So, yeah,
has
good
fallen.
play. Team play.
Your ancient is under attack.
Double kill. Killing spree. Impossible kill.
Direct victory.
Advantage. Oh my, DJ's so farmed. This is Armel. He'll split the middle. Raven will do the dirty work if he can cut off Kamizu, but they've got a really strong ward on the high ground for execution. As Kamizu's going to try and jump in full. They've